Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thank y'all so much for stopping by the live stream. I was getting this camera and audio together. I really appreciate it. Shout out to the NTZ crew. Jacob Chanje, Michael Beach Your Life. I'm pretty sure y'all gonna be on here. I'm on my laptop today. Give me a one if my audio is good. Because I made some adjustments to my audio. I tested it on the members only live stream the other day. Shout out to my old heads. That's Kevin Warren. There's Doubtful Genius. Thank y'all for your support. Raymond Walker. All my fourth quarter members. Thank y'all for y'all support. Jeffrey Tatum, Michael Alexander. I think I saw Roger Walker on here. What times it travels? Yeah, there it is, Roger Walker. How's that MSTY working out for you, Roger? Any new viewers and subscribers, welcome. Anybody catching this on live stream? Not live stream, I'm sorry. Anybody catching this on replay? The peso is 55.91, so it's creeping back up toward that 56, which I'm glad. Hey, thank you. I'm glad because I didn't want that old squeaky voice and sound like I'm in a suitcase or something. What's up, man? Yeah, we always have a topic. Today's topic is when the honeymoon is over. And I'm just asking you, when the dust settles and reality sets in, it's time for you to face the music. Are you prepared? We see a lot of videos on the Philippines on YouTube and different places. And it very seldom does it talk about day-to-day living, a day-to-day activity. Most of the time, there's some type of topic. It's talking to you about dating or something like that. But it never just says, hey, things are going to slow down around here. You're going to end up looking at each other all day. Well, what are you going to do over here? What's up, Sam? He said, General Reyes is the house is still winning. Hey, thank you, man. I did that today because number one, it's the 3-year anniversary. But I just want people to think outside the box. As Americans, I can only speak for Americans. We have a big thing about owning and everything over here. And I always tell people, well, don't invest any more than you can walk away from. But we never look at just building a little house like that and be done with it. I mean, most of the time I'm in this room anyway. I could live in that house. But some people don't have 20,000. Some people don't have 40,000 and up to build this fortress that everybody wants to build. You can buy a piece of land for about $1,000, build that for another $5,000 and be done with it. And there's people over here you can trust that you'll be able to do that with. Imagine you're only out of what, $6,000? But most of us come over here, we want to build a big house. We want to buy these expensive condominiums, or we'll complain about it. In the comments, the guy, oh, well, it's realistically going to take 40,000 over here. No, it's not. Maybe for you, but you can't speak for everybody. I can 100% live in that house from here on to the time I leave. Me and Marilyn, or you and your girlfriend, it's got everything that this house has. Own electricity, own water, refrigerator, aircon, Wi-Fi. All I have to do is put a microwave in there and then hook up a stovetop grill. And I could run the line out that window, side window, and put my propane outside if I don't want it on the inside. But that's a self-contained unit. That's the reason I do stuff like that. Start thinking outside the box, man. You don't have to come over here. Man, you spent $6,000. Okay, so what is that for a whole year? $500 a month, which is what, a lot of us are paying for rent over here. $400 or $500 a month. You already got your money. You already got your money back. But it's just something I wanted to do to continue to, encourage people, man, to think outside the box. You see, here's what I'm saying. See this Jason K. These are grown men. He said, "Oh, the house ain't yours." What do you mean? Ain't loyal. Oh, these hoes ain't loyal. I don't know about that. You just gotta speak for yourself. And he says, "I got scammed by my first Filipino, but thank you for preparing me so I wasn't surprised. It could have been way worse if you didn't prepare me." Yeah, I was talking to, I consider him a friend of mine, Mario from Richmond, Kentucky. And I was just telling him, guys, we meet the wrong women online. Y'all are meeting the wrong women online. There's ways to meet a good woman online. And I always talk about it all the time. When you log into those dating sites, man, stop meeting the women who are online already. Stop meeting the women who are sending you messages. Don't do that. You're going to end up meeting the wrong woman. These women can't scam us, man. They're not sophisticated enough. We're our worst enemy over here. We're our worst enemy over here. I don't want to hear another "she scammed me" story, because they're not scamming us. You can see the crime. You can track the crime from the beginning all the way to the end and stop it anywhere you want. We feel obligated to take care of people who we have no business taking care of. These are strangers. If you can't say no in the beginning, you'll never be able to say no. That's the easiest time to say no. Because he said a woman, the second day she was asking him about a doctor bill or something. I'm like, dude, that's easy for you to say no and keep going. Typical woman's not going to do that. What's up, Blizzard Abroad? But we keep on alling for that, man. Stop giving these women your money until they deserve it, I guess, until they've earned it. I mean, I was talking with Brother K, and he made a great point, something I try to tell you all the time, that Filipinos are tough as nails. Okay, because he said up there where he lives, there's it floods about this time every year. And he says he sees little girls and little boys swimming out in that water and having a good time. He said, those women are eventually going to grow up to the women we date. And I was like, yeah, they're tough. But we treat them, we handle them with kid gloves. They'll cut you in half, man. They don't need that type of treatment. He said, yeah, you should wait. Now, well, that's not the point I'm trying to make, Raymond. 99% of us meet women online. And people are going to have their own preference. Oh, I don't have to do it. I won't do it. If you meet a woman on the street, more than likely, she's got a profile online. So it's the same thing, really. A woman over here trying to date a foreigner would be stupid not to have a profile online. But I did give him some advice. I said, yeah, if you're going to get online, it's best to wait till you get over here. That way you're here already. Because that's really the whole point of getting on that line, certainly for the woman, because can't nothing pop off until you're here. Any dreams that she has of getting a visa and visiting your country, having her standard of living raised and all that, it's nothing until you get over here. But we've got to stop that, man. These women don't need your help like that. We're just offering it so soon, too quick. What possibly has she done for you to give her all that money and make all them promises? Yeah, he says, LOL, Cal, you never sugarcoated, brutally honest, because you're talking from lived experience. That's right. He said they show you exactly who they are from day one if you decide to walk around the blinkers, and avoid the flashing red lights and all of that. But if you know what you're doing online, you're going to meet a good woman. You have to pay anyway, but at least you'll meet a good woman and you can avoid all that other stuff. That's why, you get a small percentage of Filipinos who give all Filipinos a bad name. It's good women over here that you can trust. Maryland's already got what she wants. Why hasn't she kicked me out, guys? Why hasn't she thrown me under the bus? Y'all said that's what they do, but it's not true. I'm telling you from experience, not only that, but what other men I see are doing over here. There's good people over here, man. Yeah, we want to try to save women who don't need saving. Jeffrey Taylor just left here. He knows the deal. It don't start till you get here. They want you over here, man. Oh, okay, yeah, it didn't go online. Yeah, that's it. That's it. I don't know what's going on, Raymond. But I appreciate your consideration. But of course, let's talk about a few things before we get to the topic. Y'all see this Trump and Elon Musk thing blowing up, right? Crazy. Nobody's surprised, I'm sure. Hey, Jews, they're saying, oh, Trump, Elon Musk should have more respect for the president. Why all of a sudden should he have? He's got his whole family in the damn Oval Office and all of that. Come on, man. Hey, grinding all my life. Thanks for that super chat. He said, happy belated birthday, Cal. Sorry I missed your special day. I was on an 8-day cruise. Wow. In the Caribbean. Here's a little something you and Maryland can go out and celebrate. Hey, thank you, man, because, we're heading down to, we've been invited in the morning for the grand opening. Viper Gym is opening up a gym in Toledo City, Cebu. We're going to spend the night there. We're going to check on the land. I'm going to do a video from the land because I've never showed y'all that lot over there. And then we're going to take the kids on down to Cebu City to that water park that they've got, man. But thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I mean, really. But yeah, Donald Trump, that people say, oh, he should respect, the office of the president. Well, why? Why was it? And Trump he doesn't respect the Supreme Court. He doesn't respect anything. And I'm not surprised that he's on that Epstein list. Now people are backing up. See, they supposed to bend and release that Epstein list. But they know that Trump's on it. He's all in it, man. So they're not going to do it. But it just goes to show you that our government's messed up over there, man. It's bought and sold now, man. Y'all don't believe me. I was on my members only live stream the other day. We got to take our government back, man. We have to start running for office. Regular people. There's not one regular person in the Senate, in the House, on the Supreme Court, certainly in the White House and administration at all who can relate to us. It's bought and sold. He sit there and said, yeah, if it wasn't for me, you wouldn't even have got elected. Everybody knows that's true. But it just shows you the sad state of affairs over there, man. It's really sad. You got to understand when he posts that out there, like that, Yeah, yeah, it's all a distraction, but I'm saying it's just not surprising. I don't think anyone's surprised. But also, I wanted to let y'all know I'm planning a party here in San Carlos City. It's probably going to be at the Palau Hotel if I can get a good deal on that ballroom. And I'm going to bring the Filipino community and the foreign community together, basically the Sunshine Shows community together. Now, when it comes to Filipinos, it's going to have to be, because there's so many of them, I'm going to invite them. But if you're a foreigner and you're around San Carlos City anywhere, you're going to be invited. If I just say everyone's invited, 1,000 people would show up. But my point is, when I have meet and greets, my Filipino subscribers don't realize that they're invited too, that they can come there too. But it's probably going to be a bring your own bottle affair. I'll probably have some party favors there, like ice and, Coke, Sprite, cranberry juice, orange juice, whatever you mix your drinks and stuff with. He said, my lack of land skills will keep me from being qualified. Yeah, he said, honest, yeah, it wouldn't last 6 months. Not in this system. Not in this system. Okay, he's saying that that bill is bad for people. And see, the Democrats, I said this too on the members only. I said the reason why they're not pushing back is because these tax breaks for the rich, Democrats qualify for that too, guys. Did they think we're stupid? Okay, they're on TV, they'll show them pushing back on it, right? But if it's passed, if they qualify, they're gonna get those benefits too in those tax breaks. He says, I met my first Filipino online. I came over with fake roses and a $3,000 necklace and charm. Gave her a loan and she jetted. Only got the tune up. Yeah, don't blame her though. And we got to blame ourselves. I know that necklace is probably on somebody else's neck right now because she pawned that sucker. Hey, thanks. What time is it, Travelers? If Rashard is on here, man, I'm on my laptop. I can see you now. He said, Cal, after seeing Kay in that living on $400 a month video, it's still people in unbelief saying no way it can be done. Women's our biggest expense. Yeah, see, he doesn't have a woman. And it's not that he doesn't want one. He's just being honest. He's saying, look, because I saw where being in Cebu, he's going to come right on my live stream, take that information and run with it and make a video and talk about, oh, you said he can't have a girlfriend for $450. Yes, you can, right? Well, Brother K said, it's not that I can't get a woman. He said, but I want to be able to take care of my woman. I want to be able to buy stuff. I want to be able to take her somewhere. I'm not advocating you coming over here and living on 450, 600, whatever it is. Man, you just existing. I don't care what anybody says. I'm living over here. I don't want that type of lifestyle. What's your house look like? Brother K's got a nice place. It just depends on your situation, but I wouldn't advocate that. When he told me that, because I had no idea really, I thought he was living on about 1,000. He said, no, Cal, I'm living on about 450 a month. I was like, wow, let me share that. But he's very, very disciplined, this guy is. He's a strict vegan, man. I saw it for 4 days. He didn't cheat at all. But he said, it's not like he don't want a woman. He's like, I want to be able to do some things for her. Imagine if you come over here, and your budget is 600. That's all you've got. You don't got anything else. What in the world are you going to do over here? You're not going to do anything. You eating in Carinderias, you know, you're doing all kind of stuff, man, that the typical foreigner wouldn't do. But I don't knock him for that. If that's all you got, that's all you got. But he came on my live stream. See, I don't like when people do that. You know, and that's what they do. They come on here and they sit here and they get all this content and they run with it. Come up with your own content, man. You know, and then it made it look, he made it look like he's trolling the man. Trolling me. I just interviewed the guy. He's a good guy. But I didn't appreciate that, man. And he comes to my live, my meet and greets all the time. You know. It's crazy. Y'all seen him. He actually laughed. The German counselor was there and was talking about D-Day. And this imbecile laughed. Man, nobody in his family served in World War II and certainly didn't die. But he got the nerve when he was like, well, that wasn't a good day for y'all, talking about the Germans, and then start laughing. I'm like, man, has any president ever been that ignorant? He says, if you live in Tondo and eat nothing but peg, you can probably spend even less than that. Yeah, it can be done, but I wouldn't advocate you to do it. That's just, but I say, don't let that discourage you. Bring as much as you can afford, stay as long as you can. But for him to take that information and run with it, make a video like the man's lying or whatever like that, I didn't appreciate that, man. Almost like a troll type of video. The man said that he can't do it. He said, peg. Yeah, that means food that they take from the garbage. They actually go to places like Jollibee, KFC, McDonald's. Well, mainly, yeah, those fast food restaurants, and they buy the garbage. Where you buy chicken and you eat wherever it is and you throw it away. Well, they go in there, buy it by the kilo, take it home, wash it, and recook it. But what they do is they'll cook it, they'll transform it in a different format. It'll be like a stew or something, like an adobo type of thing, right? Excuse me. And people know that this is what they're eating, but they don't have a choice. And they 20 pesos for a meal. He said, Brother K is the real deal. He manages to live like that, not only because he's truly single, but more so because of his discipline. He's a rare breed, a solid man, and good brother. Yeah, see, he takes good care of himself and his body. Eating right, exercising. We went to the gym just about every day he was here. You got to realize he's 71. He'll be 72. But he moves around, man. He's not on any prescriptions or anything like that. That's why I told him, I said, he said, Calvin, he asked me, he said, Cal, can you help me start a YouTube channel? He said, because I'd like to earn some extra money so I could help me a woman. And I said to myself, of course I'll help you. But all I can do is push you out there. He's already got 1,000 subscribers. But I told him, I said, because your story is so interesting. People really want to know, are you living off that? So I told him, I said, he's just having he's an older guy and he doesn't, he's not too tech savvy. So he's having a hard time uploading his videos, making thumbnails and stuff like that. Because I suggested, I said, look, show them your place. Because he showed it to me. He's got a pretty nice place. No, we're not renting out our place. I'm saying that you could rent that out, for about $7,500, all utilities included, Wi-Fi and everything. I would do it. What's up, Pennsylvania expat? Also, I got some real good interviews coming up. Has anybody heard from Angelo Habib since he been back, since he returned home to Canada? I messaged him today. I'd like to interview him. He says a Filipino can live on 13,000 and an expat can live on 400,000. Yeah, that's about 20. The guy said something like 23,000 a month. But the thing that makes him able to do that, he's got low rent and he doesn't have a woman. He's got low rent and no woman. Okay. That's the two things working in his favor. I told him, once you get a woman, I want to interview you again. I want you to talk about how your budget changed. Because it's going to change drastically. Yeah, get the thumbs up, guys. Hit the like button. It's free. He said, we got 143 in the chat. Let's get the likes up, guys. Yeah. Yeah, women cost. They cost a lot over here. And of course, people pushing back. I disagree. Well, in the short run, it's not as expensive in America, but in the long run, it is. We're not going to be like Q in the Philippines. He spent $1,000. I don't know. He never did. I hope he comes on here today because I wasn't able to see his response. What did he do for $1,000? Okay. He took a woman out and spent $1,000 on a date. I'm like, what the hell did you do? He said, guys, there are more than one Trump. He said, your budget goes up with a woman. Absolutely. He said, Cal, whatever happened to Geechee Line? Well, this YouTube, man, is not easy, guys. We make it look easy. It's not easy. And remember, YouTube has that filter. It's called the algorithm. And they'll test you. Do you really want to have a channel? Okay. And I think that's what it is. He wasn't getting any traction. But he's still over here, I believe. Somebody told me he's in Davao. The last video I saw of him was in March, and he was celebrating Duterte's birthday, even though Duterte was locked up. Okay. This is the last time I've seen him. But yeah, unless you're, you get pushed out there, which I try to help people to kind of circumvent the algorithm like they did me. That's how they helped me. So I help other people, but it's not easy, man, especially if you don't want to talk about your life. All you want to do is bring these topics and stuff to the people. He says he seems like a very good man. I subscribe to his channel and hope he succeeds. Yeah, one thing that he did that prepared him for the Philippines, hell, he lived for 30 years in Israel. Imagine what he was living on over there. Long before he got his Social Security and everything, he was actually working over there. What's up, Jason Flint? He said, hey, Cal, how does it feel to be back in the Philippines? Man, I'm glad you brought this up because, I made the video yesterday. I've hit a wall, and for some reason, people saw more into that than what it is. Why is it when men talk about their shortcomings and their vulnerabilities and the problems they're facing, the challenges, y'all look at us like we're weak? No, it's weak if you don't do that. I've always sensed, Herman, that, and I wrote Michael Beecher Life, and I wrote Confident Voice Speaks last night this. And I've said this on my videos before. I've always sensed that when you remain in a place for a long period of time where you don't know anybody and you don't recognize anybody, that it has an effect on you. So, on my phone, they've got a excuse me, POE. That's like the AI. So I just put in there, I asked the question, can remaining in a place where you don't know anyone or recognize anyone have negative effects on your mental health? And I was shocked at what I found, what came back. Absolutely it does. So when I was home, isolation, let me say something. Isolation, stress, disconnected, you're disconnected. Your identity, everything, it's a whole lot of stuff. It's a whole list of stuff that came up. And we don't even know this is happening to us over here. So when I went home to America, I was actually healing. I just didn't know it. I was actually healing. I just left too fast. So when I came over here, I wasn't all the way healed. So I'm starting to go back down again. But one of the things to help with that is, one of the suggestions they said is to engage in online support groups. Now, what better way than this? I believe this is what helped me during COVID and everything. My YouTube channel saved me from really going crazy. But this is what's happening to our mental decline over here. We have no idea it's happening, Herman. None of us do. You come over here where everywhere you go, you don't know anybody. You don't recognize anybody. Now people are saying, oh, that's what I want. Yeah, if you hadn't, if you're escaping, if the police are looking for your authorities, then it's going to benefit you. But when you're not running from anybody and you're not hiding, it's going to do more harm than you could ever imagine. And we don't even know. So you wake up one day and you're like, man, where's the energy I used to have? Where's the motivation? But I know what it is with me. It's pushing me onto something else. It's time for me to go to the next level, whatever it is. Believe it or not, it was a film producer that wrote me a video last night. He said he's doing a documentary on Black men in Asia, and he wants me to be a part of it. See, that's the universe, guys. He said, you was the first one I thought about. And he sent me some links of where he was, he's an actor too and everything. Hey, Richie Rich, he said, good morning, Cal. Happy Saturday to you from Manila. We both know the moment you get a girl here, your expenses would double at least. Chinga's low maintenance, but damn, she can eat. Yeah, even they're all low maintenance, but what I'm trying to get guys to understand is, man, if you got a woman over here, you got to reevaluate your budget. See, they conveniently skip over it when they do a video. They'll have a list of stuff, but they don't have the woman on it. I'm like, well, what about your woman in the past and the liners and the rice and her children and wherever you go, you're paying for two people and all that. They conveniently skipped that part. He said, how's Sam Champion doing? He's doing, about as well as expected. He's back in Georgia now. He was working in Kentucky when he had a stroke. And I reached out to his wife because I wanted to get, matter of fact, I've got a 3X shirt coming that I want somebody, that I ordered from a lady, that I want somebody in America to send to him. I've got his address and everything. I should be getting the shirt any day now. It's finished. But yeah, I guess he's about as good as you can expect. He had a major stroke. Whether you have it on your right side or left side makes a difference. I believe he had it on the right side. He said, YouTube is no joke. I know I couldn't do it. He says, I don't see why brothers give up on a challenge just because they don't blow up right away. Yeah, because they're going into it for the wrong reason, Blizzard Bro. They're not like you and me See, my channel's bigger than just views now. You know, YouTube has a shadow ban on me anyway. I know I should be getting more views than I'm getting, but it's up to YouTube. They don't put me out there in front of enough people, but when they do, you see the results, but they just don't. You know, I'm too real. So YouTube, remember, they're in business with me. And if enough people complain about you, they'll put a shadow ban on you, man. Even though I'm not disrespecting anybody, you know, I'm not showing nude women and all that kind of stuff. It's certainly a shadow ban, because when I see these other vloggers over here and the bullshit they putting out, certainly these women, I'll be like, and they getting these big, you know, the views, you know, I know something's going on, but I don't let that stop me, because I'm not in it for that. You know, YouTube is a popularity contest, but they're in it for the wrong reason, Blizzard, bro. They think we make it look easy. They want to earn extra money. It helps if you're white, okay? If you're a white man over here, it helps. If you're a Filipino, it helps. But everybody else, man, your ass is out. I promise you, okay? Yeah, he's working it out. Yeah, because he's, you know, he's like a lot of us older guys. We're not too tech savvy. And see, when you say stuff like I just said, like, yeah, it helps if you're a white guy, helps if you're a Filipino. That's real. That's 100% facts. But people take that the wrong way. No, I'm just telling you that's the truth. Okay? Take it or leave it. Yeah, I think Brother K, you know, I gave him some suggestions, but he's a grown man, and I want his channel to be his channel. But I told him, man, if you stick around, if you let your content revolve around your day-to-day life and how you're able to maintain that 450, show them your house, show them where you live, show them what you eat, show them your workout routine and all that, man. You know, if you're going to earn some money. I don't know how much, but eventually he will. He says, I can't go without a lady or friend with benefits. My fourth quarter needed as long as I can do the deed. Well, that's what I told Brother K. It's not even in my plans. I wouldn't even consider it. I'm a man, you know, and, you know, Napoleon Hill said that's normal. He said, you know, unless you're a man who your faculties no longer work. But if your faculties are working, you can chalk that up, man. You're going to have a woman over here. You know, he said, Calvin, learning Spanish has helped me cope and make friends here in Latin America. It's like a second home. Language is very important. It is. I agree 100%. It's the ninth wonder of the world as far as I'm concerned. If you don't know it fluently, see, you're at a grave disadvantage, and most of us, we don't want to learn it fluently. I want to learn as much to keep people honest. See, you know, because a lot of the tricycle drivers and jeepney drivers, they can't speak good English because they don't come in contact with us. They don't get to practice their English. So when you say something like I did yesterday to the guy, he was shocked. I said, you know, Loya Adbangasano. And he looked at me like, yeah, because he said, I can't speak English good. I said, well, I can't speak Bisaya good. But when I said that, his eyes got big. But it's certainly important. It's certainly important. More important than we think. And then, you know, when you go through something over here, remember, Filipinos aren't going to understand it. Because the guy said, is it the midlife crisis? I said, no, I already did that in 2010. But they're not going to understand it. Just like you're not going to understand a whole lot of stuff they may go through. But they're certainly not going to understand when you say, I'm in a funk. You know, I just, you know, I can't shake it. You know, I don't know what it is, you know. and you start talking about solutions and stuff, they look at you like, that's not a problem. That's a good problem to have. He said, they're low maintenance, but have to eat too. Yeah, and more than that. If you're gonna be with a woman, everywhere you go, you got to take her with you. I mean, I'm just saying. I mean, that is common sense, but we don't think about it like that. He said, 53 Shades Darker. Hey, we headed your way on Monday because we're going to that water park, man. Is that open? I want to take my kids to that. You know, by the bridge, as you coming over from Mandawi to Lapu-Lapu, you see on the right-hand side, you see that water park. Is that open? I'm pretty sure it is. He said most of the vloggers didn't get traction after just 1 year. They were on for at least 3 to 4 years. There are some exceptions, but who gets 30,000 subs in 1 year? They had to wait also. Yeah, that's true. It usually takes about, if you don't get any help at all, if you just on here grinding yourself, it usually takes anywhere between 18 months or 2 years. But it really, once you reach the threshold of what, 1,000 subscribers, 4,000 watch time hours, you can earn money off that. You don't need all those subscribers. Of course, the more subscribers you got, the more notifications, the more people probably going to see your video and they're going to share it and like it, which increases your income. But it didn't take me long because I had help. That's why I help people. It took me about, let's see, I started in August of 2020. I got my first check from YouTube in January of 2021. And that's because people helped me, though. And then I was cranking out content. See, people don't know what to do. After a while, those topics run out. And, everybody's doing the topics and they don't want to talk about themselves. They don't want to be an example. No balls, no blue chips. You got to separate yourself from everybody else because the algorithm works on competition too. Because I've seen as more channels have come on, my income has gone down, but I really don't matter because next month my Social Security kicks in. It was going to have to go down anyway because I don't want them fooling with my benefits. But it has a lot to do with it too. He said, okay, I come on another veterans YouTube channel. It's good that you can live in a place where there's a lot of foreigners like, Manila and different places, and they want to be interviewed. I just so happen to be in a place where it's not a whole lot of foreigners. I mean, you just don't see them that often. And when you do, I don't want to bother them. Not like that. If it comes up, like it came up with me and Brother K because he wanted to start a channel. So I interviewed him. Other than that, it's tough. But that's a good way to get viewers and subscribers and watch time hours. Do some live streams. But you can't be afraid, though, to talk about what's really going on over her day-to-day activities, because that's why you see so many sugar-coated videos and people running around here on a pink cloud. They don't make videos like I made yesterday and other videos I made where they let you inside really their world. They don't want you to know, man, hey, look, I'm struggling today. For the last few days, I've been struggling. They're not going to do that, man. And they don't understand you may have to do that for people to relate to you. He said, getting views the dirty way is easy. Some people don't care and they promote filth to get views. It's a new form of the rat race. It's the virtual rat race. I gotta agree with you there. You know, all views aren't good views. I learned that myself. All views aren't good views. You got that right. But I believe if you just talk about, see, they see you over here and they want to know, well, how'd you get over there? What are you doing to stay over there? You know, by me being a black man, is oh, well, how are you treated as a black man? You know, honestly, the reason you're seeing more and more black men in the Philippines and Thailand and Southeast Asia, we just want to be treated like everybody else. That's all we want. Don't treat us better. Certainly don't treat us less. Just treat us like everybody else. I'm speaking for myself. I'm tired of that other treatment that I get at home. I get it, you know. I get that other treatment. I'm tired of feeling like a second-class citizen in my own country. So I go somewhere like here and I'm treated like everybody else. How would they treat everybody else? I'm treated the same. That's all I wanted my whole life. So when I tell guys that, it encourages them to come over here. You know, wherever you go, you know, there's always going to be this color line. I don't care where you go. But over here, I don't have a problem with that because I'm not running for government office. I'm not trying to enter into the entertainment business or beauty contest and all that. So I don't have a problem with that. But this is all I ever wanted. Just treat me like everybody else. I don't want to be treated better. I don't want to be treated less. They treat me like everybody else. And my white friends, when you say stuff like that, they can't relate because that's not their experience. But at the same time, don't knock me. Don't say, oh, you're a victim and oh, it's not happening. It is happening. I'm 62 years old. What I'm seeing, living, and experiencing is real. Okay? There is no post-racial society when Barack Obama got elected. But we'll move on. But I'm just saying, if you don't talk about stuff like that, people ain't going to be able to relate to you. I'm just saying, if you don't talk about real stuff, they're not going to relate to you. They're going to be like, well, so you tell me that you don't never have downtime? When I made a video like I did yesterday, obviously other people are going through some type of challenges. Otherwise, you wouldn't be on these channels trying to find a solution to get the hell away from the problems you encountering. But remember, we're a man with a body. It's not the other way around. It's all mental, guys. You're either coming into a problem, you're in a problem right now, you're leaving a problem. But that's all the time. The minute you get rid of one, here comes another. That's just real life. There's no perfect people walking around here. You got shit going on in your mind when you're at work, when you're at home, when you're at the dinner table. Something's going on with you financially, physically, relationship, whatever it is. So when I made a video like that, I don't care. See, I learned in recovery that I got to talk about that stuff, man. I can't let it set inside me and boil up and get worse. When I share my pain, it lessens the pain. And other people go through that stuff too, man. Yeah, somebody's going through something right now, but y'all afraid to share it. That's another reason I do those videos like that, to encourage you to talk about your problem, man. Shit. Not yet. But see, what I want to do, 53 Shades Darker, but we'll check. I'm gonna check that out today because I want to like get an Airbnb or a hotel for us and then go to the water park. Because you know these crazy water parks here, if you go to some of them, man, it's ridiculous. What's that one? Is it Plantation Bay? You talking about 10,000 pesos a night? Come on, man. I mean, I ain't got that kind of money. He said, y'all think Pacquiao gonna get spanked next month? What's the consensus out there in the Philippines? Well, we had this discussion the last live stream, and honestly, I'm not gonna bet against Pacquiao. Okay, because first of all, he's a legend. Second of all, he's smart. He's not gonna come out of retirement and fight somebody he don't think he can beat. Who's the light-skinned dude he beat before? What was his name? Y'all didn't tell me last time. And took his belt. And Pacquiao was like 42 or something. He was like 30. It sort of reminds me of that. Because the guy he beat the guy he's fighting next month. See, Pacquiao thinks in those terms, man. He's not coming back to fight Crawford or Tank Davis or anybody like that. You know, he knows what he's doing. That's an easy $10 million he's supposed to be getting or whatever it is. Either way it goes. Then you got endorsements. Then you got, whenever he goes out on the road and promotes the fight, he's getting paid. But he's smart. I wouldn't bet against him. But this young guy, ain't no joke. He said, I'm a veteran with 100% disability. Will I be good out in the Philippines? What's your disability? Because there's a lot of people out here with 100% disability. And they're doing just fine. What's your disability? If you don't have any legs, I wouldn't come out here. What's up, Love and Freedom? He's over in Mexico. And see, I've got a brother. He's coming here for his, he's coming to Angeles City, but he lives in Mexico. And I forgot the name of this place. I wrote it down. And I was shocked. He was like, Cal, because I asked him, I said, any black people there? He said, yeah, about 20,000 black people there. What's the name of this place, Love and Freedom in Mexico, that's real popular? He said the only problem is it's real, real hot there. But he's going to come on my channel. And he's going to tell y'all about Mexico and the option that, that are there for us. He said, yeah, Cal, you have a good woman, also a good partner. Yeah, but most of the women you meet online are good. You just got to know what you're doing. We don't know what we're doing. And we don't want to listen. That's where they are. Okay, that's where they're meeting them. These 70-year-old men, look, they're lying to you. They're not coming over here, getting in these young women's face. That's not true. Man, these women be scared to death if you come over here, smelling like Newport 100s, and you done drunk a damn 40 ounce of Coke 45, and you all up in some woman's face. They ain't trying to see that, man. They'll do it discreetly online, though. And then once they figure out, yeah, he's okay, and look at the life I've got now, then they'll bring you out there. But they're not meeting these women. Do you think Old Dog New Tricks met his wife on the street? What about Mike Philippines experience? And I'm not picking on these guys. I'm just saying, do you really think that they're walking up to these women? Hey, I'm Calvin. How you doing? You want to go out on a date or whatever it is. Can you meet a woman in a bar or something over here? Can you get introduced to some woman? Yeah, more than likely. She's got a profile online to even be comfortable talking to you unless she works in the mall. But yeah, I'm telling the truth, Juice, man. Just treat me like everybody else. That's all I want. That's all I've ever wanted my whole life. I'm tired of that other treatment I get over there. The side eye and all that stuff, man. I fought for my country. I don't have a police record. I pay my taxes. But I'm still the other over there. It's like, it's crazy. And he says, leave me alone, let me chill in my zen. Well, yeah, I understand, man. You need a balance. I know now I need a balance. I can't sit over here for 6 years without seeing my family, without going home and seeing familiar faces. Okay, because I was looking at Joe Rogan last night, and he was interviewing. It's an old 7-year interview with Sebastian. I want to say his last name is Younger, but it's spelled Junger. And one of the books he wrote, he was talking about human beings. We're not wired to be alone. He said, as much as I love New York City, he said, if I wander around there for 2 or 3 days, I don't know anybody, I don't recognize anybody, it's going to have an effect on my mental health. And I like to spit out my water I was drinking, because I was like, this is exactly what I had just researched. This is what happens to us over here. When people are talking about, because what really got me thinking about it again was me and Brother K went out to dinner the other night, and he was talking about everything that's going on in America. He said, Cal, I'm resigned to the fact that I may never see my family again. And I was like, wow, that's a hell of a statement. And I got to thinking to myself, is that what I signed up for? That I never want to see my family again and my friends? I didn't sign up for that. I mean, it hit me like a ton of bricks. But we need a balance, man. I'm not going to stay away that long anymore. Not if I want my mental health to be as sharp as it is. And I know you're thinking, Cal, you're crazy. Okay, I'm just telling you. He said, do you believe in soulmates? I believe in getting along with somebody. And honestly, one thing I can't say about Filipino women is they make good companions. They're cooperative, man, but you've got to be in too a little bit. You don't have to break, but you got to be in too. You can't expect them to do everything. And as long as we get along, see, I've gotten along with all of my women, but for one reason or other, we broke up. My son's mother, I had just gotten out of just a terrible divorce. I wasn't thinking about marriage. And every day, oh, what's your plans for me? What's your plans for me? Pressuring me. Like, lady, calm down. You living the best life you ever lived. You don't have to work. I took you off that. Man, that hamster wheel over here runs 100 miles an hour. You're working 12 to 14 hours a day, 30 days out of the month. Slow down. Okay, that was that. My wife, okay, we had 10 good years together. We come over here, I need a break. She fell in love with America. And some guy was like, yeah, she chose America over you. And I'm thinking, I told him, I said, well, I don't blame her. Okay. But we never got in arguments. We never fought. And it's the same with me and Marilyn. We get along so well, I could see problems coming, from a mile away. I know her already. I know to give her space. I don't complain when she goes to the gym. I trust her. That's the big thing. I don't think that some man over there and they got a secret room in the gym where he's blowing her back out and all that. If I believed that, I wouldn't be here. Okay, I trust her. So that goes a long way. But it's all about getting along with me. If I can get along with you, we can make it work, because we spend so much time talking about, hey, thank you for this information, man, because I really need it. But I'm going to take you and your wife. We want to go out to Morning Glory Grill, man. I'm paying. But we spend so much time talking about women, man, and that's the least of your worries. They're really courting you. They're really hunting you. You're really the prey. But I can't get this through to me, and they don't understand. And see, when you really start talking, that's the nitty gritty right there. Okay, that's why the 18 to 80 blind, crippled, or crazy is in full effect. Because they really need you, man. You know, these women, they want something better out of life. And I'm not all of them. I'm talking about the ones we meet online and the ones who deal with foreigners. And you got what they want. So it doesn't really take a whole lot, man. But we spend all day talking about women, and then you don't learn nothing else. You come over here and you're not prepared. But I'm going to tell you that he said, I stayed at that one before, Cal. Yeah, I know you brought your damn checkbook with you, man. That damn thing is expensive. He said, what's good in St. Carlos City, bro? Oh, man. I'm getting ready to have a party, man. I'm planning it. I want you and your woman to come, man. You come by yourself either way. But I'm planning a party. I want to bring the Filipino community and the Sunshine Shows community together. You know, if something pops off, it pops off. You know, this isn't a matchmaking thing. I just want people to have fun. But I'm going to do it every year. It's going to be an annual thing. It's going to be a big deal. So every year, people are going to be looking forward to coming to the party. What's going on, Alaska Bushman? He said Barrios was sleep Pac-Man. Pac-Man got beat by the guy Barrios beat. Yeah, but you got to realize that Pac-Man beat the guy who beat Barrios. Go back and look at Barrios' last 5 fights. Who's the light-skinned brother, man, that Pac-Man beat? He was 30 years old, man. It makes me mad. I can't think about this. I got this man's name on the Thurman. There it is. Yeah, Thurman. Thank you, Pooh. He beat Barrios. And Pac-Man beat him, you know, like a stepchild, like he stole something. So, you know, it's not about who beat who. It's all about styles and everything. The thing about Pac-Man, he's going to get in there and mix it up, you know. So I wouldn't bet against him, man. I wouldn't bet on that. I wouldn't bet against him. I just want to see a good fight because, you know, Mexicans are going to fight. You see the last fight Barrios had? It was a draw, a split draw or something, man. That might have been the fight of the year. They're going to fight. He said treatment here for the average guy is basic at best. And that if he's lucky, and that's if he's lucky. It's not much better for wealthy guys in committed relationships, but they have the means to move around if they want. Yeah, we want something better. And you're going to get something better over here. At least she's going to appreciate you more because she needs you. But what we do, we think, we're not listening. We think that all women over here are the same. This is where we get it wrong. They're not. He said we have to be more real with ourselves, period, and that's regardless of having any social media or not. That's right. But if a man comes on social media and he talks about his shortcomings, his vulnerabilities, his challenges, they look at him like he's weak. Man, you can't wear that mask all the time, man, you know. Everybody's a tough guy, a stoic guy. You know, we all doing everything the right way, you know. If you only seen some of the emails and messages I get from these guys out here, I'm like, dude, you're not all that you think you are. Okay? You dealing with something right now. That's why you messaging me. You're insecure. Something's going on with you. We're all in something. You either walking into something, you dealing with something now, you just walking out from dealing with something. But the world is spinning, man. We're not just sitting still right here. You're always going to be up against some challenge. And if you're not, man, you probably damn near dead. That's not going to stop until you die. The fact that we able to deal with this face to face and, just all of our lives and overcome it, man, that's the strength. A lot of times when men, when they, if I say suicide, well, I already said it now. If they commit suicide, they always leave a suicide note. The suicide note says what they should have said before they pulled the trigger. But we don't talk. We're afraid. Society's got us mixed up, man. The narrative out there about what constitutes a strong man is messed up. Who came up with that? Look at these two clowns, the richest man in the world and the president of the United States. They arguing back and forth like a bunch of women. Is this the alpha males that we supposed to pattern our lives after? Huh? We always equate wealth with, with knowledge and wisdom and everything. People are no smarter than you, man. He says, hey, brother Cal, is a Filipino culture with a foreign man just living with a Filipino, having relations with no intention of ever getting married? No, it's a lot of people who get married over here. But most of the vloggers you see with a woman are married. Because they date to marry. They're not going to just sit there and let you. Me and Merlin's had to talk about it. She was disappointed that I didn't get that done when I went home. And I don't have, and I don't blame her. It's their culture. They just don't want you over here like that, man. They want some type of commitment. Filipinos are not from outer space. But no, they date to marry. Yeah, he said his son's fighting too. I saw that. No, it ain't Cancun. It's a little bitty town. Kadia or something like that. Yeah, that's what the people were talking about. They were talking about it has to be financial reasons because he has nothing else to prove. It has to be finances, but all of them eventually go broke like that. Look at Floyd Mayweather. They're talking about, just because he files bankruptcy don't mean he's broke, but when you earn the kind of money these athletes make, man, you shouldn't have any money problems. And I'm just like, I don't know who said this, but he said, if you start helping me and managing my finances when I'm 18, 19 years old, and then I'm broke when I'm 40, you never had my best interest in mind. I never should have dealt with you. Who are these guys, financial advisors, is what I'm saying. When they're earning this kind of money, man, you can't go broke off that. When the average guy, the federal minimum wage in America is still $7.25 per hour. Let that sink in. Even if you sign 1 year for $1 million, you take away taxes and all that. Just say you got 500,000 left. Man, that's supposed to last you. Yeah, well, you should be okay as long as you continue to keep it under control. And make sure you can get your medications. He says, as grown men, we need to talk. Your forum is a place where anyone can relax and take part in the conversation. Keep up the great work. This is what saved me, Dexter. Certainly in the pandemic and lockdowns, it's been my YouTube channel. That's one of the solutions. They say, if you can't get out into the community, you can become a part of an online support group. And this is what the meet and greets are. No, it's called Kadia or something. I've got it wrote down. I don't know if this is the, because I was talking to him. Let me see. But he said, yeah, it's a lot of people over there. Him and his uncle live there. And he said it's just by coincidence. No, this isn't it. But he's coming on my channel because I think he'll be here Sunday. I'm almost sure he's going to be here Sunday. What's up, Thomas? He said, thanks for the great info, Cal. Life advice in the stock crypto world, we call helpful advice alpha or big alpha. Yeah, you know, I wish that I would have gotten more involved with that crypto years ago. He said, when I tell people in the U.S. I might retire at age 62, collect my Social Security and pension, people think I'm a crazy nut. Did you go through that criticism too at first? Absolutely. Certainly online, you know, but you can't beat the internet. So, you know, when you put it out there on the internet, man, you got to expect that kind of stuff to come back because they always have the answers. But yeah, you know, people, they always want to say, well, man, if you just do 5 more years, I can't do 5 more years. You know, yeah, that's it. This is it right here. Thank you. Merida, Mexico. This is it. He lives there now. He's like, yeah, Cal, you really like it there. And he's going to come on here and talk about his life there. Because a lot of people, they're sitting around and it's like, man, you know, Philippines is so far away. I was telling y'all during lockdown, don't wait just to come over here. There's so many other places you can go. It may be your sweet spot. But he said that's his sweet spot right there. He said he really likes that place. He says, at Blizzard, thanks, bro. I'm going to be honest. Out of all the countries we have visited besides Vietnam, the Philippines will be our choice to live. A lot of brothers like it here, man. You know, we just treat it like everybody else. And that's all I wanted, man. I don't want any special treatment or anything. But I know I got tired of that over there. And, you know, if you want to argue about it, argue with somebody else. I'm telling you my reality. He says, Kentucky a cheap state to live in. I've been there, but never lived there. The U.S. is expensive anywhere we go. Just weird times we live in. Yeah, compared to, you know, Chicago or New York or California. One of the last days I was home, I showed y'all a sign where the rent for a 2-bedroom, 1 bath was $975. He said, Cal, this shirt is fire. Yeah, I meant to say something about this shirt. My buddy JR from Japan, he gave it to me off his back. He stayed at the guest house, him and, you know, his girl, because this he's a real deal. I interviewed him. I was like, man, that shirt is nice. And he took it off his back and gave it to me. I just never wore it on air before. But his daughter, he's married to a Japanese woman. And they've got, you know, half Japanese, half black kids. And his daughters are beautiful, but one of his daughters is like a celebrity over there. She has something like, when I met him, it had to have been 2 years ago or longer. She had 640,000 subscribers on YouTube. She's probably got 1 million right now. But yeah, he's a great guy. He said, Philippines Annex said that Derek Q Adventures is on the run. How could they know about all that? Well, somebody sent me something in my email. Yeah, it's out there now. But I won't talk about it. That's how they know about it. And, you know, They're putting it all out there. It's out there. The information is. And yeah, it's out there. And they know about it. And that's how they know. Everybody that that should know knows now. But I'm gonna hold back my judgment, man. It's just too easy to be accused of something like that over here. Remember, there was an American guy who spent 5 years in prison here before he ever came to court because his next door neighbor said that he raped her. 5 years he spent because now he's married and everything, but he's hanging out with her husband. So she brings the police over his house thinking he's harboring her husband. It traumatizes his son, so he files charges against the woman in the barangay or whatever. Well, 6 months later, the woman goes and files charges against him for rape, even though he was 12 hours away when the rape supposedly had happened. They got records of this woman extorting money from him, saying, yeah, if you give me a certain amount of money, I'm going to drop the charges and all of that. No physical evidence at all. And then to add insult to injury, they charged him 5 years of back immigration fees. So I'm going to reserve my judgment, man, but yeah, that stuff's out there, man. I've never seen that kind of, but I really don't know these people. Remember, I'm not around them 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, but I've never seen that type of, behavior out of them. But you don't know people, man. You just don't know people. So yeah, it's out there. But I'm going to reserve my judgment on it because it's just too easy to get caught up in something like that over here. Remember, there's no due process over here. But y'all don't seem to understand that. A lot of people come over here and they act like they want to run the Philippines. Man, look, if you didn't learn anything about that Vitali situation, just know that the Philippines run the Philippines, okay? And they will take care of your ass if you come over here causing trouble. They can handle you. You won't ever get out of this country, man. Just come over here, man, and act like you got some sense. But that's one of the consequences of meeting the wrong woman. That's why it's to your advantage to take your time. He said, I got to give you credit. You talk straight through your videos in one take. That's a skill set. Maybe you may mess up and re-record sometimes. No. But you seem like you can speak straight and drop truth bombs. No, I do my videos like that. They're raw, Maybe that's the reason why my channel isn't as big as it should be, But no, I don't do that. Every now and then I'll put a video together of some clips that I had. But no, I just wake up with something on my mind. And it's just like having a conversation, smooth life. That's all it is. It's like right now. I'll talk for 2 hours. It was my job before as an insurance agent. That's all I did all day long. Yeah, it is a money grab. That's what I said. That's what a lot of the experts are saying, but I wouldn't bet against Pac-Man. He said, I disagree, Cal. It's a money grab for Pacquiao. He's too old to be fighting these hungry young bulls. Mike Tyson came out of retirement and looked terrible, in my opinion. It's a money grab. Yeah, but Mike Tyson, man, that wasn't even. You got to realize Mike Tyson would have beat that man senseless. You do understand there was all kind of stipulations and everything when he fought that fight, right? Granted, all my life. You do understand that Tyson couldn't, really fight Jake Paul. That wasn't a real fight. That fight was scripted. It was 3 rounds. Pac-Man is getting there. He's fighting for the title. And I'm just telling you, that fight with Tyson was scripted. People were disappointed. They knew what was going on. If you go back and watch that fight, man, with so many left hooks that Tyson could have hit him with. He said the people in the Philippines is definitely some cheerful people to be around. They're the world's greatest neighbors. That's what they call the Filipinos, and it's true. They won't bother you. Excuse me. They will not bother you. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. It's just that there's more white people over here, and there's more white men who would then be able to relate to me. See, a lot of white men can't relate to me. Just like I can't relate to them, so I don't watch them. It's just a numbers game, basically. Yeah, absolutely. They have more viewers, but they don't have the influence I have. Nobody knows who they are but y'all. If they step out in front of that camera, nobody knows who they are. They can't have a meet and greet. If the neighbors down the street, the house burned down, they can't reach out and say, hey, let's rebuild their house and all that stuff like that. See, it's not about numbers anymore to me. It's more about, can I really put some information out there that's going to help people, going to prepare them, at least give them a more of an insight of what's really over here in the Philippines. Because YouTube is a popularity contest. That's really all it is. But absolutely, simply because, if you see these bloggers that are out there, if you look at my content and you look at theirs, and you tell me their content is 10 times better than mine, that they're getting 10 times the views that I get. See, I can't control. That's something I can't control. So I don't worry about it. It has to do with the algorithm and all that kind of stuff. But they're not that much better than me. I'm sorry. I watch the same videos y'all watch. I know that YouTube has a shadow ban on me. Somebody told me that a couple of years ago. Said, Cal, YouTube's got a shadow ban on you. He said, your channel should be bigger. He said, you should get more views than you get. I didn't know what a shadow ban was when he told me. But I believe it now. I honestly believe it. A lot of people who were subscribed to me, they're no longer subscribed to me. YouTube determines who sees your videos, that algorithm. About twice a year, YouTube will help all vloggers. Okay, you'll see a vlogger and one of his videos might have 100,000. The rest of them have got 800 because the algorithm helped him. See, if YouTube puts you out there in front of more people are going to click on your video. But if they don't, they only put you out there in a certain amount of people, then your views are going to get, they're going to be smaller. But absolutely. He said humans need interaction. Yeah. We just don't need to be around humans because Joe Rogan was talking about, is it true that you can be alone in a room full of people? And Sebastian Younger was saying, absolutely, you can. We're not wired for that. And he was talking about what happens to us, but I'd already looked it up. Go look it up, man. If you got AI, or even Google it. If you remain in a place for a long time where you don't know anybody, you don't recognize anybody, it affects your mental health, man. And that's what's happening to a lot of us over here. So if you wake up one day and you're not as mentally sharp as you used to be, maybe you need to go home. Maybe you need to go around people who you recognize and who you know and start healing. Because it's a steady decline, really. But when you tell people that, they don't want to hear that. I'm out of the matrix. Well, sometimes you might be doing more harm than good. It's okay to have a balance. But yeah, we do need interaction, not just to be around people. He said, Calvin, talk about how these women are ungrateful no matter how much you do for them when they are done with you. Well, that comes from, that is one thing that that's a cultural difference, okay? And then remember, they expect you to do all this stuff. And yeah, it seems like that to us. That's the way we look at it. Because we're expecting one thing. We expect them to act a certain way that they don't act, but that's culture, really. But you're right. That's how it seems to us. You know, I'll give you an example. You got to understand, I gave my wife the visa. She's over there living her best life now. But it seems like she wants everybody to think that she, I had nothing to do with that. They want to give the next man all the credit. And it's like, I'm expecting her to act a certain way that she don't act. But it has nothing to do with her, really. It's really the culture. She's like, okay, we're not together anymore. I mean, what do you want me to do? But unless I bring it up, she's never thanked me for that. And it's a big deal, man, and as an American coming from our culture, we're expecting that. But that's really all it is. It's just a cultural difference. But y'all don't think that culture makes a difference. It does. When you come over here and you're doing all this stuff and people don't even say thank you, it's like, are they ungrateful? They don't appreciate it? When they really do, but they're just not reacting the way we expect them to react. I mean, if that makes any sense, but that's all cultural. Yeah, it's simply because, it's more white guys and white guys can relate to them. But my channel is bigger than that now, man. I'm trying to really show people there's an option out here. I need to be on here, man. I need to be on this YouTube. Because one of the reasons I started a YouTube channel, no one was talking to me. Absolutely no one. I was watching these videos and I'm living in the Philippines. I'm like, man, it's not the Philippines where I'm living. And, they start saying that stuff about, oh, they prefer white men and they want white babies. Well, some of them do, but not all of them. I'm sitting here right now, men will still ask me, after all these years, 16 years, 3 Filipino babies, and the whole 9 yards, the Filipinos like black men. I think that's the most ridiculous question you could ever ask me. But my channel's bigger than views now. I want to be here when somebody cuts on that video and say, okay, if he's over there and they accept him, they're going to accept me. And then I speak in a way where people can relate. That's important, man. That's very important. I mean, I didn't create the color line. I didn't create it, but it's there. It exists. And it's not, oh, we're all the same. Yeah, at the basic foundation, we are the same. But try telling that to the world. We've already been, the damage has already been done. You cannot reverse that, man. It's going to take 1,000 years to reverse that. So yeah, it makes a big difference. I just be myself, man. And some people, even though they're white, they can relate to me. Because when you start talking about leaving that rat race and jumping off that hamster wheel, I don't give a damn what color you are. And that resonates. Especially when you start getting up, man, you don't want to go to work, but you got to go on cold ass winter days, or you done stayed out and partied, had a good time at somebody's birthday party, and that damn alarm clock's getting ready to go off at 6, you'd be like, damn, there got to be another way. But it's really true, man. It's true that I think it's important, man, that I'm on here. And more of us are on here, man. It makes a difference. He said, I think black man's in trouble. I have been in Cagayan de Oro. I got a real good friend Claude that lives in Cagandiora, a big house. He built it himself because he was a contractor in America. He built houses over here. Him and his wife and their daughter. And I love Cagandioro. Yeah, I've been there before. I really like it. He said, even if you buy a donut. Yeah, whatever you buy. I mean, in the long run, you're going to spend more over here than you are in America simply because the woman in America is going to have a job. If I wouldn't date a woman in America that didn't have a job. It's different over here. But I wouldn't date a woman in America who didn't have a job. But it's different over here. You come over here, you don't expect them to have a job, or if they do, it pays very little. So all of that's got to be in your mind when you come over here. Otherwise, you're going to be unhappy. You're going to be, comparing them to what's going on over there. Yeah, it's not all roses, but I tell you what, man, it's a whole lot better when you with the right one over here than there. I just want a woman who's going to work with me, who's going to be cooperative, who lives by that unspoken agreement. If you do what you say you're going to do, and I do what I say I'm going to do, there's no reason for us to be arguing. There's no reason for us to split up and break up and divorce. But the minute you stop doing what you promised to do, or I stop doing what I promised to do, that's where the problems come in. Is that right? Look, I'm talking about on a consistent basis. Yeah, sometimes you're just not going to feel right. Or you may not have enough money or whatever it is to take the trip or whatever it is. But as long as you're doing what you said you're going to do, ma'am, and I'm doing what I say I'm going to do, we shouldn't have a problem. Yeah, I wouldn't bet against Pac-Man, guys, okay? Yeah, we certainly think different. That's biological. But if you live in America long enough, they'll have you thinking men and women are the same. We're equal, but we're not the same. By no means. But this is what they want you to think. See, over here, the really big difference, as I've seen it, because I've dealt with both of them over an extended period of time, between American women and Filipino women, is Filipino women understand that they need a man in the family. You don't hear Filipino women, I don't care how much money they got and how successful and famous they are. They know the importance of a man in their household. That's just their culture. You don't hear them saying, I don't need a man. A lot of them may be saying, well, I'm going to wait because I'm, my education, I'm studying now, I've got commitments to my family, but eventually that man is there. I'm just telling you. That's the big difference. What did it for me and my American wife, she said to my face, she said, ninjas like you come a dime a dozen. And I'm like, that cut through me like a knife, man. It was just, that's the worst thing you could have said to me after all I've done, all the sacrifices. I make it look easy. Lady, it's not easy what I'm doing. I'm paying for everything. I'm taking care of everything. I took us out of the mud. I turned my life, I did a 180. And you benefited more than anybody. And now you're going to say, you're going to take all that for granted? She's been looking ever since, okay? Because she just said that because she knew it was going to cut me. Even my youngest daughter said that to me. Which she's taking me out to the meet and greet in Louisville, Kentucky, at my meet and greet. She said, Daddy, I don't know what it is. She said, my mama's never had a man like you. She said, but you're the only one who she got a problem with. and she's never forgiven. I mean, if you see the men on her list, but that's what did it for me. When she said that, I knew I was out of there. I knew I was out of there. I'll be damned. And if it was a damn if you do, damn if you don't. Now when I left, oh, you left us. Now, that's the story she gave my kids, man. I didn't leave you, lady. Even when I moved, I didn't leave you. She squandered a lot of money, man. I mean, a lot of money. He said, yeah, they back and forth like the Golden Girls. He says, hey, can you own land or house there for our business? Well, actually, if you get an SRV, if you got the right visa, 13A, you can do a whole lot over here, just not on a tourist visa. He said, treat like a second-class citizen without real equal rights, absolutely joke of a place. Well, because you're not a citizen. Okay, unless you're a citizen over in America, you can't do any of that either. Well, don't come over here. Why are you even following these channels? He said cackling hens, but those are almost alpha men. Yeah, see, these are the guys we're supposed to be patterning our lives after, that we want to grow up to be them. I mean, both of them handed, their success on a silver platter. That damn Elon Musk is not a genius. He was born rich. Trump was too. Yeah, he said every live stream, the same dude talking about how horrible. Well, just stay your ass over there then. But thank y'all so much for your super chat, super stickers, all your thumbs up, all your support for Sunshine Shows. I got to get out of here because we got to get ready. Get rid of him then. Because we don't play that on here. We got to get ready. We've been invited to the grand opening of the new Vipers Gym in Toledo City, Cebu. And while we're over there, I'm going to do a video on the land I bought over there. Okay, now that's how you do it. You don't invest any more than you can't walk away from. But if you don't own anything in your country, why are you worrying about owning something over here? And that's always been the case. The people who give you the most pushback about owning something over here don't own nothing in their home country. So I don't understand what that's all about. But take care, guys. I'll see y'all later. I think Blizzard Abroad's following me. Somebody put Blizzard Abroad link on her. But here's the thing, though. If you got the right type of visa over here, you can work. You can go to school. Okay? It's a lot of things you can do. But we're trying to do all that on the tourist visa. You can't do it. You can't do it. You got to have the right visa. And if you were to, here's Blizzard Abroad. And if you were to have a corporation or whatever, see, I'm not a lawyer over here, so I'm not going to practice Filipino law without a license. But come over here and see. You never know if you don't try. Y'all 8,000 miles away talking about the Philippines and the law and all of that. Y'all crazy. Yeah, I'm coming. I'll be there Monday for sure. I'll hit you up 53 Shades.